Alright, so right off the bat I decided to go straight right instead of going lower down south by the trail. And the green was a lot thicker and denser than I thought it would be. And so I lost a little bit of time there. And I didn't have a great bearing, but I saw that big hill with the yellow clearing on it. And so I headed towards it, but then I changed my direction a bit. I saw the next hill. I should have had a better bearing. It was a little bit zigzaggy, so that wasn't optimal. For the second leg, my plan was to come around the left side of this hill and just follow up the Orienteering till you pass the trail, and then coming up to it until you hit the rock or whatever the feature was. It was pretty simple. There wasn't much you could do to mess it up. Leg 3. This was a longer leg, so I decided to exit following this trail because that was the fastest way, and there's this big green band that's really slow and you didn't want to get caught up. And then here, instead of cutting across, again this green, it was pretty bad, so I followed all the way along on the trail. Here I decided to cut through the yellow instead of taking the trail down here and straight. I think it was the best route. It was pretty good. The yellow, I was worried that it might be rough open and have some underbrush, but it was just wood chips, so basically got lucky with that. When coming into the control, it was a bit hard to see this cliff. I could not read that on the map, and then but coming out, I didn't want to go around through this hash because of the stuff I had to go through on number 1. So I climbed all the way to the trail and then followed it down all the way to here, and then I decided to cut across, just trying to gain some time. I think I lost about 30 seconds or at least on this leg to the fastest runner. So and they cut across like this, so maybe the green wasn't too bad here, but I didn't want to risk it, and I'm happy with the route choice. Here I decided to go left rather than right. I think that was definitely the better option. I was worried that this indistinct trail might not be fast, or as fast as the thicker one, but it was fine. And then here I had to stop to plan out the long leg. So I saw 2 options for the long leg. One being coming back like this, and up this trail and up here, and then attacking from this side. And then the other one going right around this trail. Oh crap! Around this trail and all the way up here, turning here, and then up. And so I took the right option. I thought this was going too far back. It's like whatever the distance is between these two lines, 250 or 500 meters. I think it's 250. And it would be about the same distance here. It would be less distance going right and about the same climb. So I first climbed up here straight approximately, and then I just followed the trail. It was pretty fast doing that. And then I looped around here, and I think I lost the most time going up this hill and then the hill on the other end. This was a trail, so I think right there I stopped running just to walk because I'm not very in shape. I'm out of shape. And then here you just continued. It was really easy, so I think I stayed on a little bit longer, but then I basically, no, actually that's pretty accurate. I hit this and then I stayed on this trail for the cut line, and then I came up here aiming for this big yellow patch, nailing it, and then following this trail up all the way over here. This was really slow. There's a lot of deadfall, and it just wasn't fast. So some other people, a variation of my route, it came up this white and then up here or along this trail and then up this one, or even up here. So either of those might have been faster, but I couldn't know how slow these cut lines were. 7 was pretty simple. Took it straight, nailed it. Kinda read these knolls, but it was just mostly a bearing. Same with this one, as long as I had a good bearing, you can't miss it. To 9, I decided instead of going straight and over, it doesn't look that bad now that I look at it, but this trail was really fast, so probably faster than going through this hash. And so I came up the trail and then basically hiked until I got to here. There was this was a depression, and that was pretty clear, so you could use that. Then I came over the top. I could see this hill, so I stayed to the left of it. I wanted to avoid as much climb as I could. And then this is the long leg, and I decided it was pretty white and there was no trails too close parallel, so I just decided to go straight. Yeah, going straight. This was really steep. These are 5-meter contours, so that was pretty steep. Once I hit the trail though, it felt like I was moving again. So I just stayed around the marsh and then kind of popped off the trail here, crossed between these two hills. And then I could see this one a bit in the distance, so I just tried staying a little bit right of it and going straight here. There's not much in the contours to read here, but I knew that this one was coming up, and I could see this was very clear, this spur. And then here you have this curve, so that was pretty easy to follow, and you could see this big hill, so you stay to the left of that, and then you'd come up here, and I popped over around here, and I could see this cliff and this open. I think it was open here too, so that's why I went a bit to the right, because I thought I was already here. But then I saw this pond marsh thing, and it was all good from there. Yep, and then number 11 was really easy. You'd hit it if you just ran straight down the re-entrant. Number 12 I did a little bit of a hesitation on the way to it, but again it was just straight. My line was pretty good. Here I crossed the cliff there, it wasn't too bad. And then yeah, I climbed up this spur, just crossed the trail, and I just knew I had to head up, and I was pretty slow up here, and I lost a lot of time going uphill here too. It was closer to the end of the race, and I was getting tired also, so it wasn't fantastic. But I came just to the right side of that hill, and then just popped over and headed. It was pretty easy. The last long leg. So here I wanted to stay on the left side and just kind of maintain my elevation. So my plan was to go on around the left side here, around just past this whatever pond thing, and then hit some of these trails and then come here, just trying to keep it as straight as possible. So here I got onto the spur, and then I crossed the spur, or crossed the marsh onto this hill, and then came through here, and then came through the hash. That was, I think, the best place to cross this kind of band of green. It's really ugly there. Past the water station, and then I continued just straight. It was pretty easy to hit, not an issue. Here, this was really tall, and I couldn't see very far, but I think when I saw that, I crossed over, and it was just in front of me. It's nothing hard. Here is just, again, compass, trying to stay out of the marsh and on this white forest ground, because there was a lot faster running there, but just hit the rock. Here I didn't have a great bearing, and I should have hopped into the left of this and just gone straight like my mouse. But I realized a bit late, so I came around the right side of this one and popped between these two, and then I was back on track. So I just continued straight, and then came in between this hill and this one, and just go straight between the kind of valley. And then here I popped onto the trail, came around the left, saw this was really obvious and big, and connected onto the trail here, and just continued up basically. I made a mistake. I was getting pretty tired here. Right in the bend, I should have taken a really good bearing and hit this trail, but I was just kind of aiming like this. And I ended up hitting it here, which was further than I expected, because I was expecting to be somewhere here. So I ran down a bit, and then I realized coming back here, that was about 20 or 30 seconds. Then I just ran down trail and trail. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a great course. I'm just gonna show my full route, but basically, so other than some of the zigzags here, this could have been a lot straighter. It might have been faster to go around here on the left. Otherwise, to 2, this is a pretty optimal choice, I think. I got beat by a lot. I think I was just being slow. To number 3, I am happy with my route. It's basically the optimal with the variation at the end, but I think you couldn't have done it much better. This was the best crossing point through the wall of green, and you don't want to go through this. Number 4, maybe a little bit, cutting it a little bit more like this would have saved some climb, I think, about 10 meters, and it would have saved some distance too. So I think that would have been the best, but I didn't want to cut through this, and it looked pretty impassable, so it was safer to go around like this. 5 was good. I hope this was the optimal to 6. I think the end could have been done a little bit better, but it was pretty good. 7, 8 were good. 9, that was the optimal. I won the split to 10, so this was a pretty good route, and I'm happy with it. It was dead straight, so my bearing was decent, and I kind of read along. And at 11, 12, 13, it's pretty straight. Couldn't have done it much better. To 14, I avoid most of the climb around here, so that's good. And then I crossed in probably the best spot to cross. 15 was straight. Could have been a bit more straighter, you know, like right on the line, but whatever. 16, again, like these curves. I think I was trying to avoid the deadfall mostly, so what can you do? We could do without this curve here. That would have been the best. But it's pretty straight from there on. This is good. Again, other than this was probably my biggest mistake. Right here, I should have cut that off there and saved 30 seconds or so. Yeah, it's a great map. Really good for our standards. Could do a lot of stuff up in here. This is very, very nice terrain. All these rocks and contours and knolls. Alrighty.